We're live! Can everybody hear me? Yeah? I'm assuming so. Okay. So this is my first introductory video. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. I was going to start with, talking about saving the world. On Kickstarter, we're doing really good. We still have, I think, 17 days or something. I put links to all the campaigns that are happening right now that are that I have some interest in or something like that I backed and whatnot. Pip-Boy. Oh yeah, it's shrouded by little Fallout 3 figurines. I don't even know if it's in there, if that's just the case. That's kind of my wife's side right there. There's the Tim Burton stuff. Well, those are my Ninja Turtles right there. But and behind me, my little was that the Dark Knight Rises Catwoman and ScarJo. And then I think that there we are. That was when I was a little kid. The Batman Returns figure for Batman. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. What's I gonna? Oh yeah. I was gonna talk about the crowdfunding stuff. I'm not prepared at all. And that's all the wrong stuff. Anyways, so Saving the World number 3 is doing very good. And I'm a nerd and a hoarder. Oh yeah, and in the chat, we got Shabby. We got Greyhovac. I don't actually never known how to say his name. I just read it. 6 Scale. And that's so far. So, uh-oh. There we go. On the crowdfunding, yeah, Saving the World number 3. Anyways, it's doing pretty good. We still got quite a ways to go, though, time-wise. And other stuff, I put the links in the thing because I haven't figured out how to switch over back and forth, like showing the screen on the feed. I was just hoping to, do as good as I can this time. I didn't want to get too complicated. So I have the links down there. Let's see. There's Doug's Lone Wolf, number 1. If you don't got that, go get it. There is 6 Scales, Napalm Brothers, number 2. And that's on Indiegogo. And I had some, and the Zombie World of Oz is on In Demand, and I got links down there for that. And what else I got? I got some weird stuff down there that's just stuff I was interested in, so you can check it out if you want. The Piano Tuner, it's a bit of a racy adult comic book, but it's actually pretty, it's from the 90s. I think just a new publisher picked up the rights to it, and they're crowdfunding a re-release of it, but as a floppy, whereas originally it was like a bigger trade. And but it's really funny. It's just, NC-17 type stuff. And then there was one, will there be more? Oh yeah, Saving the World books. Yeah, there's going to be a lot more. So just right now, and actually that's what I was going to do. I was going to lay down what my plan on Saving the World type stuff is going to be. So Saving the World number 3 comes out like November, and then number 4 is planned for probably a January launch. I'm going to kind of take a little month breather through December and then start again the beginning of the year. And that one's already written. I haven't started the art yet, but it's written and everything. Um, uh, the series has really a long ways to go. There's going to be a Stratus solo, and you saw a little bit of him in Saving the Universe #1. And there'll be a Stratus solo. There'll probably be another Lillian Wepawet. And then there's someone. Oh yeah, well there's a few characters that I haven't announced yet. That will be, I think. Oh, they debut in Saving the World #5, and then they'll probably have a spinoff. But it kind of depends how successful everything is. I'm not going to get too much into spinoffs until Saving the World kind of builds up readership, and because the spinoffs like Lillian Wepawet did really good. Well, it was my best, highest selling comic so far. So it did good, but they have to take the place of Saving the World. So like, I have to delay Saving the World because just time. Once I get like more artists, I hope to have more artists working on it. But again, I have to make a lot more money for all that, so we're getting there. Artists, Shabby asked, do you already have some artists lined up? Not beyond me, Jim Lawson, and then Monk, illustrator Monk. So far, that's all we got. There's lots, there's tons of people I'd like to approach. It's just they don't have the finances of paying people to draw comics. Just isn't there currently, because, well, like Saving the World #3, I will, no doubt lose money on it because I'm not super concerned about breaking a profit right now. I'm trying, it's all about just building up the IP and stuff. So, hiring Jim Lawson to come in really makes it where it really needed to be. Like, it'd have to be like a 4,500 to 5,500, to really start seeing any profit. But in a way, I mean, there's a long-term deal because you get so many printed, then you can sell them at stores and stuff and make up some of that overhead later. So there's some of that, but I hope to even have, some, I mean, this is long-term goal to have writers coming in. So there's like a whole crew writing this universe, kind of like, not totally like a mainstream, but that fundamental idea. Ninja Turtles did a lot of that with, they had the main series of TMNT that had different writers and artists coming in. And then they had Tales of the TMNT at the same time that also did the same thing. So they had tons of different people working on it. I'd like to do something like that someday because I have an overall plan, like a Bible of like where this story eventually goes, but there is tons of slack in the middle to where someone could jump into Saving the World with like Kira, Nora, or Lillian Wepawet and stuff, and really write stories with me just saying, okay, just don't do this because of that, But other than that, they have pretty good free reign. And so that's what I'm hoping to get there. I don't know if it'll be next year. It really depends just how well each campaign goes, It could end up never happening just because, reality comes a knocking. But it's certainly, all those things are in the are a goal. I don't have, like, I have no set end issue, like where the story reaches this and I end. I would like to keep going roughly indefinitely, And so far, each one's gotten better. Saving the World #3 did better. It's currently on track to do better than Lillian Wepawet. So, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about that. And then next year, there's tons of stuff that might, well, help all of us, really. When the what's it, Comic-Cons. When the Comic-Cons kick off next year, I mean, that's where indie comics usually thrives. And so, what's that? Will the digital bundle still be $20 with future books? Well, kind of. Pickles here. Um, Usually it's just like $5 a piece for the crowdfunding. I would like to have even cheaper way to enter. And right now it's 20 because there's Saving the World #1, 2, 3, and Lily and Wepawet. I retired Saving the Universe because I did 2 print runs and sold out of them, but the 3 stories in there, one was Lily and Wepawet. That's been reprinted as a standalone that has the full comic, and so I don't need it anymore. Stratus is going to get a reboot, kind of a reboot. It'll be that same beginning still stands. It will just be redone. And then Gypsy, I have no idea what I'm going to do with. I had a story for her, but I'm not quite certain how she fits in, so it'll probably be some time before her. But when I do, I'll just reprint Sizzle's introductory story, and then like I did with Lily and Wepawet, where it reprints the shorts and then has a full comic added to that. So that's what I'm working on. Let me look at the chat here. Yeah, thumbs up the video there. I only got 3. Jeez Louise, I've been... Okay, so Doug's here, and Eric Kent. So okay, that's the Saving the World and Tonic comic stuff. I got, I have big plans, but I don't know, whether I get there or not. But I certainly have big plans to continue the comic and get more people from the community in working on that series and stuff. And I think that'd be really fun. I just don't know when I'll get there or how I'll get there. So let's see. I didn't have a clear plan of what the hell I was going to do, but I'll tell you about some comics I went and bought. Let's see here. There we are. So I collect mainly Golden Age DC, but I haven't been doing that much lately because it's freaking expensive. TMNT, Cerebus, and yeah, that's about it right now. Cerebus and TMNT is what I'm mainly buying a lot of. I buy some random stuff, but like Gen 13, I bought the whole series and collected the little deals. So if I see like the variants of #1, then that's something I'd buy. But mainly right now, Cerebus. And those are sometimes shockingly pricey. The whole run is 300 issues. And after like issue 50, they're just $4 or $3, just nothing. But the first 10 or so. And I'd actually bought so I had these from a long time ago. These were the issues I actually had just originally. And there's a lot of comics that I love, but I only have like 3 or 4 issues, My collecting is off and on. Like I'll freak out and go and collect a whole bunch of something, but then I won't collect nothing for months. Oh yeah, Cerebus list. Well, you'll see it right here. So these were the ones I already had, which is issue 6, 7, 10, and 11. And Cerebus is freaking awesome. I read these, and and love Cerebus, but I never really got more into it. I think I maybe read a collected or two, but I never really read like over the whole 300 issues. So I've been going out and I picked up some more at this. It's a comic shop. It's like an hour away. I don't think I've ever been there before. My local one carries a lot of DC Marvel, but almost nothing indie. The only thing I actually buy. And everything he had, I already bought. So I got this Cerebus Milmoth, and I bought 0, 1. He was missing 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you can see they call it the Cerebus effect, and it's in writing where a comic like this, or a story, movie, whatever, TV series. A long-running series, even if it starts as comedy, will eventually become serious, which is funny because it sounds like Cerebus. Anyways, they call it the Cerebus effect after the comic book. And so, anyways, a lot of people, there's a little bit of controversy because Dave Sim is crazy. But he's crazy in a way that feels like so self-aware. So I was reading, I think it was this Melmoth 0. And it's just this short little story about a guy, and he's at like a little French diner thing. And he's outside waiting for a mineral water he ordered. And the waitress is standing there, and sorry. Yeah, no, it shows him sitting there screaming curse words and stuff under and he's sweating and he's all crazy. All of a sudden the waitress comes out, and he's super polite, and he's all like, excuse me, ma'am, could I get that mineral water I ordered? And she screams, I only have 2 hands. And he's all apologetic. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to bother you. And she leaves, and then he starts cursing at her under his breath again, turning all red and crazy. And this goes on back and forth. And that's the whole comic. That's the whole issue, is just this interesting social dynamic of being enraged, but when you face the person, you're suddenly hyper polite type deal, I mean, it's a little bit like, this was from the 90s or late 80s, but you look at it in modern times on social media, where you have people who are they're keyboard heroes and keyboard warriors. And so, when they have that distance between them, all caps, all crazy. But in reality, if they were face to face, suddenly, super passive, there's a difference there. Anyways, all of his comics are like that. There is so much depth. Ninja Turtles has some of that. But Cerebus, and Ninja Turtles was heavily influenced by Cerebus. I mean, clearly Cerebus started something, and Peter and Kevin, looked at that as like, oh, that's cool, and did their own thing, spin off of that. And both are very, very excellent. I think for writers more than artists, probably. The art in Cerebus, he has other people come in, and it is exquisite. I mean, this is it's like a lot of the European comics where the detail is intricate and there's cross-hatching, very, very beautiful black and white art. And but what makes Cerebus and TMNT so amazing is the writing. And Cerebus is far more refined writing. He's exploring these very, very deep ideas. And even if you don't agree with Dave Sim, which very few humans are going to, he's a little bit crazy, but he's so self-aware that he's not sitting there preaching something insane. He's telling you, hey, this is how I feel, while accepting what is right or wrong about that. So, it's a very complex thing of what he's expressing. And so anyways, I love Cerebus. even more now that I've gotten to read more. So that's what I've been collecting. And what I read lately, I haven't read, I've read like the first, the first 2 volumes of like the collected of the new TMNT with IDW, and it's, you know, it's not bad if you just want a normal comic book. You know, it's you know, pretty mainstream. There's no chances taken. Just a story about Ninja Turtles. It's okay, but the I just got the Last Ronin by Eastman and Laird. Kind of, they give him a credit just because he wrote the. Him and Kevin developed the story back in the 80s, but and I think it's actually this Waltz guy who writes the main series currently, who wrote the last actual script. But it's a very, very good freaking comic book. It's a pretty much the Ninja Turtles version of Dark Knight Returns, which isn't, I mean, it isn't really a new idea. There is an episode of TMNT 2012, the CG series, that was exactly that. And this is a lot like it. There's, and I think a lot of the IDW series borrows from the cartoons and the comics equally. They have the different colored masks like the cartoon, but there's a lot of story elements that is from the original Ninja Turtles, like April being a scientist or a computer scientist, something along those lines, instead of being a reporter. And so it's a really meshed deal. But Ronin isn't really, it doesn't really say what it's connected to. And I think part of the theory was Last Ronin could be, you know, if you're a Mirage TMNT fan, that's the future of it. If you're the IDW new series, then that's the future, whatever. And there's some things that point towards IDW more, like the turtle has the mask laid out, and they're the colored masks, not the all red masks. But other than that, you could really take it for what it is. But it's very, very well written, and the art is amazing. It's really, really good. And it's probably the best I've read of IDW's Ninja Turtles, because I like it, but, you know, it's not indie comic. And so, you know, it doesn't take the chances that the original series did. It's kind of just straight up telling you the story. And so very traditional comic book. And they've done amazing things with it. But, you know, you're not getting Art Crumb or something out of it. But Last Ronin is the closest to, like, you know, it feels really, really like Mirage Studios Ninja Turtles. So I'm very happy about that. And so I've been lately digging through all my comic books. I just have boxes and boxes of them, and that's where I found those Cerebus. I actually forgot I had those old ones. And so I've been doing a lot of that and rebagging and boarding all my cool stuff. And I got a bunch of Spawn, because I thought about, oh, should I collect like the first 10 issues of Spawn? And I was like, you got like doubles of all of them. So, you know, done. All I had to do was dig through my boxes. And so that's what I'm doing. Okay. So let me look through the chat here and see if I missed very many things. I probably missed a bunch. When I'm talking, you just can't get me to stop. Eric Kent, I need to go and fund the Kickstarter also and get that Lawson cover. Yes, you do. Yeah, I'm very happy with the Lawson cover and the art. Okay, so Jim Lawson is funny because I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but like why I love Lawson really has almost nothing to do with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and everything to do with the comics that really, the other comics that inspired me, like Ghost World and Love and Rockets and stuff like that. My art style is one thing, kind of, you know, is kind of cartoon exaggerated and stuff. And I love 90s alternative comics that have a real loose style and stuff, but no matter how loose it gets, it still conveys everything so well. And like he brought that to Saving the World #3. And there was little details like, I have the script and then he did those 3 pages in Lillian Wepawet. And he added little things like when Kira and Nora are putting up the flyers that has their phone number on it. The panel said, show Kira and Nora walking down the street, and behind them there's flyers plastered everywhere. Like, they put them everywhere. And he went in and had it to where they're walking away from the camera, and there's a guy with a flyer stuck to him, and then they're everywhere also. But it's just a little detail, but I was like, that is perfect. Not something I didn't think about. Simple, but an important little addition there. And then with the issue #3, I have, he's already turned in all the artwork and stuff, and I wrote the script, so I already know what happens and said. But when I read it, I was just laughing so hard because of his timing. He knew how to time the panel, so as you read it, it just hits you with the full impact. Versus, if you put your panel a certain way, or it's the split is on a page and you have to go to the next one, and how that works alters that flow. And he just has this perfect flow, so I really loved it. Okay. Where am I at here? Okay, here. Theo! Yeah, I don't do that. I don't know how to do that. Do I have any Marvel's Avengers toys? Yeah, I got ScarJo! I'm a huge ScarJo fan, which is funny because this always comes back to the same thing. I love Scarlett Johansson because she was in Ghost World, which is one of my favorite comics of all time, and she's in the movie. And it's funny that now she's a Marvel Avenger because, that's the complete opposite of, was it Rebecca? I think she played in Ghost World. Anyways, but yeah, I got this. It is freaking awesome, too. It's a Hot Toys, of course. Anyways. I really only have that because of ScarJo. I don't really do Marvel. I'm not really a huge fan. I mean, mainstream comics is kind of a weird deal. I love Batman because when I was a little kid, I loved Batman. And I love the idea of it. But my comic collection's rather old now. I haven't liked anything new in a long time. But that's not weird for me. I'm very, very picky. It's less a sign of the times and more just I hate everything. And it says I like some Golden Age. I love DC Golden Age, and there's a lesson to be learned there, I believe, because when I was reading, I have a lot of like first appearance of the original Batgirl and all this stuff, and I was reading through it, and there's Kite Man and all this. But what they did was every issue was like watching a movie, not like watching an episode of a TV show, and there's a dramatic difference. When you go and see a movie, you're paying $10, and you get this full experience that you dwell on for, years until the sequel. Versus a TV series, you watch it, and then you wait for the next one. A movie, you shouldn't be waiting for the next one. Sometimes that's the case. But you already got that package. Well, Golden Age Comics was like that. If you only had $1, you could just buy, well, it was 10 cents really. You could buy whatever issues there and read that for months. And like when I was a kid, I did that. My collection wasn't giant. I had like probably 10 Batman comics that I just read endlessly. And that was my whole fandom was based on 10 issues, not 10 boxes, long boxes. It was just 1 or 2 issues. And that's true. There's some comic series that I only have a few issues of that I'm a huge fan of, and I'm just kind of getting around to collecting them now. And that's how it should be. You shouldn't have to own a 30-issue run to be a fan. You know, you should be able to buy 1 or 2 issues and be like, oh my God, that was amazing. You know, it shouldn't take so long, be such a slow burn. And that's really what's big nowadays. Anyways, Golden Age comics, though, it wasn't just one story an issue. They'd do like 5, and they were 6 pages a piece, and it was just cram-packed full of content, and you could really dwell on that for a long time. So that's what I respect about Golden Age comics. But I really like them because they're worth a lot. So it's kind of cool, you know. I got Batman #5, and so that's cool, you know. You go, it's like a piece of history and stuff. And so now, to be fair, none of my comics are all worth that much because I just like having that piece of history, but like the condition. I have Avengers #1, but like a little kid at some point had cut Hulk out of the cover, but I don't care because I'm like, I got Avengers #1, and my Batman #5 is rough as hell. Oh, it's missing a freaking cover. I got like a reproduction cover, and but my first appearance of the original Batgirl, Betty Kane, it looks like you've never seen color so bright and perfect, but if you touch it, it's just poof, it's like brittle, super brittle. You can't read it or nothing. Well, you kind of can. You just got to be super careful because just taking it out of the bag is going to chip this damn thing. But it looks nice. I don't know how that would grade. Okay, let me keep looking here. Oh, yeah, I got to send Eric Kemp my Cerebus list. It's growing rapidly because I finally found a place that sells them for, I mean, very fair prices, just $3 a piece. And I got a lot off of eBay. If you're wanting to get like TMNT is a little hard to find, and they're a little bit expensive under issue 15 or 10 or 15. Like that first run is pretty damn expensive, the first 10 issues. And mine are, I'll show you. I have most of volume 1, and then I kind of have scattered after that. But my volume 1 is full of weird crap. Like my 2 first issues is of Free Comic Book Day signed by Kevin Eastman, and then this was during the movie, that TMNT movie, the CG one. So that's my #1s. I don't actually have a legitimate one, but I thought the signed one, that's good enough. But then like I have third print of #2. It's the one I wanted because the cover is freaking awesome. I love that cover. So that's kind of, you know, it was funny. That was the cover I wanted, and I was like, hey, there it is. And that's been happy. And then I think the rest, like this is a second print of #3, and then the rest are all first prints. But let me get back on. Now what the hell? Why did I start talking about that? A bunch of. Oh, Gru. Yeah, I have a little bit, not a lot, but when I was like 10 or 11 or something, man, I freaking love Gru. It was so funny. I love that. Okay. I need to go to Pickle's freaking comic book store. No, mine here, the local one, he really just doesn't have much, especially of the 80s black and white boom. And he had some, but I bought them all. And I haven't checked actually what he has on Cerebus, but he's also a little, sometimes a little expensive on that type stuff. Oh yeah, and yeah, Dave Sim appears in crazy things throughout the 90s where he was in Spawn, which is completely opposite of what you think of him. But yeah, he was in, of course he had Ninja Turtles, which is one of my favorite issues of Ninja Turtles was Cerebus, because I love Renette. She's like one of my favorite Ninja Turtle characters. But yeah, and Cerebus was in that issue. I freaking love it. It is hilarious. And that's when those issues that's great about where the Ninja Turtles could just be the most mindless fun you've ever read is just so freaking good. And that's kind of inspired me with Saving the World. A lot of my comics used to be depressing and stuff, but reading Ninja Turtles, I'm like, man, there's something about a comic that's just 100% fun. and nothing else. But Ninja Turtles went back and forth, which I hope to do on Saving the World. There's some issues almost freaking make me cry. Actually, let me find that real quick. Yeah, this issue here by Jim Lawson and I think Murphy guy, forget his name, but yeah, it's issue 28 in the Ninja Turtles. Man, it is heavy, and it hits you hard as hell. And they adapted it to an episode of the 2003 series, and they did a pretty good job. It wasn't as heavy hitting in cartoon form, but it still is respectful that they did it, because there's little to no action in that comic. It's all about so it takes place after Return to New York. So the Ninja Turtles are reeling over what they've dealt with during those first 20 some issues, and it's kind of a retrospective of them and their feelings about their place in the world, and it's all from April's point of view in a way. And man, it is heavy. It's so good, so good. I highly recommend. You can read it just by itself, because you know what the Ninja Turtles are and what they do, so it's not necessary to have to read all the way up to it. Just understand that they had to fight a lot, and that pretty much sums it up. Let's see, because actually the Ninja Turtles, the first movie, the 90s movie, that's pretty much 1 through 21 of this comic books. You minus the alien stuff, but when it comes just to the major part, there's tons of scenes from the Ninja Turtles that come directly frame by frame from the comic books. They just condensed it, so issue number 1 takes place throughout. Like, they cut it in half and put it at the beginning and end of that 20 issue run. And because originally Shredder dies in number 1 and then comes back, and there's a whole deal. In this, they just move that death to the end so that the story doesn't have to zigzag a little bit, and they remove the alien parts. But anyways, it's very close and gives you a good idea. That should have been the sequel to the movie. Let me catch back up in here. Writing is irrelevant if the art is shit, though. I don't know. Yes and no. Yes and no. Because, I mean, it depends what's good about the art. If the art can't tell the story, that's bad. But it's hyper subjective. I've seen a comic that was, Happy Noodle Boy by Johnny Vasquez. It was just part of Johnny and the Homicidal Maniac, and it was just drawn with he's an exceptional artist, but he drew just stick figures. But again, it I guess that comes back to what makes good art. And when it comes to comics, it's not, the line art is okay, but I've seen artists who do amazing line art who suck at sequential art. There's nothing that can save them except for sequential art. And so their stories, their comics just don't flow. They are hard to read, and they suck because they're just pinup artists. And actually, you look at any submission guide and it says, don't send pinups because that proves nothing. You have to be able to tell a story. And so, I'd argue yes and no, because sequential art is part of it all. So yeah, I agree that the sequential art really is honestly part of the writing, that has to convey that story. And so you don't have to be a good illustrator. You just have to be a good sequential artist. So I don't know. That's a little bit splitting hairs. Oh yeah, Church and State. It is good, but boy howdy. Oh yeah, definitely nobody's normal. We're all on freaking medication because we're psychopaths. Sorry, I'll bear a comment. So Shabby says they are not toys, they are collectible action figures. And Honey, my wife, says they're only collectible action figures if they're still in the box. she's shaming me because I take toys out of the box and play with them. Let's see. Hold on. Let me catch you. Oh, Tony Sizzle's here. Yeehaw! With the whiskey. Oh boy, I'm a ways behind. Hold on. I'll catch up. Number 2. Hell yeah, Eric Kent. He says that's the number 2 I have because of the cover. That cover is awesome. I love how a giant poster of it. Man, it's so cool. And it's okay. I'll get to that in a second. Mirage TMT is awesome. Hell yeah, it is. Tonic, are you the weirdest dude in your hometown? No. No. I'm the most eccentric, where people are like, oh, my real name's Dusty. That Dusty, he's so crazy, right? But there's like psychopaths here. So, there's weirdos. There's this old man who's my neighbor. He's a freaking clown, like back in the day. But boy, there's questions. But no, there's crazy, crazy weirdos here. I'm the coolest, if that counts. 6 scale. I'm surprised there's any comic shops left. Yeah, well, I think that in smaller, it takes a lot more area, So, like my comic book store that's just like 20 minutes away, he's doing very good. That guy has a lot of freaking money because he just bought an entire like giant store cash. And I was like, son of a gun, how much? But it's magic cards is what he really makes his money off of. He's not making them off of freaking comic books. Oh, Pickle says that's the downside to my LCS. They don't do back issues. What? No, that wouldn't work for me. I'm all about back issues. That's all I'm doing. Okay. Boop, boop. Catching up. Shabby says, I think it might be more fun to write sad stuff rather than fun stuff. It was for a while, but then you get depressed all the time, and people don't like it. Now, I was doing kind of psychedelic, weird, dark stuff. I think it's fun to write. It's fun to play with any emotion, but something that's a little bit more. I do like writing stories that emotionally hit people. Number 4 of Saving the World will be a little bit like that. Every so often there'll be there's still jokes in there, but it starts hitting to what the real story with Kira and Nora is actually about. It's not really about superheroes and all that. There's deeper things that they have to deal with, and that kind of comes in. So certainly issue 5 through 10 are going to be a lot more emotional, but I wouldn't say depressing. Let's see. Am I lagging to everybody? I may or may not. My internet sometimes sucks. It seems like I'm okay. And Tony Sizzle says, neighbor clown. Yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg. But I got to save that. He's not a clown now. He used to be. And this guy's got John Wayne Gacy feels like through the roof. And Shabby says, I'd love to draw a story that physically hits people. Me too. And, comedy is one of those. And it depends on you. It depends on the writer. For me, comedy, I don't want to say this. Okay, I'm going to say it and then say what I think you're thinking. Comedies, for me, it feels easy to write. You might be saying, well, your comics suck and aren't funny. Well, screw you too. But no. For me, comedy feels easy to write versus anything else. But emotion I feel is easier because you feel it. You know what emotion is, and you only have to look inside yourself to find out what the answer is. What's hard is, like for me, is a murder mystery. I don't know. I never murdered anybody, and I never investigated a murder. So. And you have to figure out who you want to have done it, and then backtrack and try to make it confusing. Man, I don't know. I've always wanted to write one, but that's complicated. But also, I feel a little, it's like a novelty story, that the reader will enjoy it and go, wow, but they didn't, they didn't learn anything. I mean, there's a gazillion murder mysteries. It's like doing a puzzle, not like reading a story. A story has this, should like affect your soul, You're not going to go, I figured out the mystery and found myself at the same time. No, But, so, that's my hot take on that. So, oh yeah, I do love murder mysteries. I like watching those cold case files and all that a little bit, but they make you a little crazy because you start thinking someone's going to murder you or something. And so they give me anxiety sometimes, but I do like unsolved mysteries and cold case files and stuff like that on the occasion. So hold on here. I did get a bunch of crowdfunding stuff recently. Let me remember where I put it real quick. Okay, but this stuff has been like around for a while. So some of these will be new and some will be just things. So this is that Eva that I have in the comment or the description below that I have the link to. It's from Europe, probably I think UK, and the artist clearly he worked on the comic, the Aeon Flux comic, and so the comic very much comes off as Aeon Flux, even though it's technically not, just the artist is. The story isn't super strong. It's very Blade Runner Aeon Flux. But that dude's art is freaking amazing, and so it kind of makes up the difference. And it's not poorly written, it just doesn't make any sense yet. And so I'm hoping there is a second issue. They did okay, but they can't really run on the budgets we do. I think they, spent maybe too much because it barely made its goal of $7,000 or $8,000, and I was like, son of a gun, I could live a year off of that. Then next, I got okay, these aren't all the Rags new ones because I've had a few, but Rags, I backed that thing that gives me all of them because I've been supporting on Patreon for a little bit, and so I only had some issues, and that filled in my gaps. I got a lot of doubles, but that filled in my thing. Is pretty good. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for the second one. I honestly expected like a bigger reveal on that last issue. It ended up kind of being a little bit of a lost, where the final episode people were confused. It was like that. I didn't understand last issue, but I'm assuming that's to pick up in the next season type deal they're doing. Let's see. Eric Kent is correct. I could ask my likely crazy murder clown neighbor, how did you cover up all your murders your whole life? And then I'll write it down. And oh, is a Pit Boy in there? Okay, I'll take it down next time because I'm going to break all those figurines. Okay, hold on. Okay, next up, I got LaFay by No Sleep. The Dupree and what's that guy, Metzger? They're really good. They're pretty good comics. They're just mainstream comics. So, like, if you are like, I hate Marvel, but I really like to read one, there you go. So, these guys are doing by the books mainstream comics, just indie, and they're pretty fun. I really like LaFay, and then I also buy them Freaky Tales, which is kind of it has a few different comics that they do, but they put out like this ridiculous amount of comics, different series and stuff. LaFay is the only one I've kept up with all that much. Next up, Soulbound. This by Paula Ritchie, and it's really, and she said this a million times. It's targeted towards like teen girls, and that's exactly what it is. But it's very well done. So yeah, if you got like a young girl, teen girls, but I mean, it's also targeting like they could be 7. It don't really matter if they know how to read, they'll like it. I think boys would too. I don't think in any way it's female orientated necessarily. It's just a cool little book. But I do see where like a 40-year-old guy might go, oh, little sissy, or something like that. But I mean, it's a very good comic. The art is terrific and it's very well written. So she has done very, very good. And then Vestry, which I evidently backed twice and didn't know it. I got 2. And it's very, very good. And I think all of us, it's very interesting seeing everybody, including myself for that matter, getting better as we go. But Vestry was very awesome. And I'm super excited about the issue 2 because their issue 1 starts out strong as hell. And so, generally with guys like us, we don't do this for a living. And so, our first issues will be our weakest link. That's where we learned everything. And so, but their first issue come off very freaking good. And they utilized every page very good, which sometimes ain't the case. People just slap things together. But they have this freaking, the map of Vestry and stuff like that, the world of Vestry. And then at the back they have the designs of the characters and stuff like that, little 2-page deal. But it's freaking awesome and it's very well done. And so that's a series I'm going to continue checking out. Hold on here. Next up, oh yeah, I got Punchline. I have a few of those. There again, this is the same thing as with Luray. It's a very traditional mainstream superhero comic, which I'm 2 ways about it. I'm much more interested in really crazy, weird, not mainstream comics, but it's fun to sit down and read one without the shame of it being by DC or Marvel. So Punchline is like probably the best just straight up superhero, like a replacement for Marvel DC. Punchline is dead on. It is very, very good. Well, really good art, very well written. It's not going to blow you away. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's just a very good wheel. Then Lone Wolf Black and White. Okay, I can't decide which I love more, the Lone Wolf Black and White or the color. I freaking love it in both. And when I look at one, like when I looked at it in black and white, I thought, man, that's the definitive version. It should have been printed in black and white always. But then you see the color and you're like, man, his painting is on point. And so anyways, you can get that. There's a link below. Yeah, that guy that's a thing. Napalm Brothers #1. So, oh yeah, and it comes with the thing here. This is freaking awesome. I love the like the art style 6 scale uses in this. It's very unique to that, and that's not a bad thing. And in fact, we have in mainstream comics especially, there's a complete, lack of any type of originality. Everybody is the same artist and same writer and everything. And so, but I would assume, I mean, that's pretty much for this entire thing I've been showing you. There's all unique type stuff. And for me, this might be, I might be the only one, but 6 Scale's art reminds me of like G.I. Joe's. Like, it's a very serious, there's serious topics and stuff, but it looks like GI Joes. I can't explain it, but they look like GI Joes. That's all I can say. The posing and stuff like that, and I think it's the bold outlines and stuff that gives me that action figure tone. I don't know. His name's Sixel, so it makes sense. But it's really cool. I like it. Next up, Zombieful World of Oz. I didn't know I was going to like this comic. I've had, I'll tell you guys the truth, whether you like it or not. I have a thing about, there was, like Alice in Wonderland, and there's a lot of those where there's lots of people do spin-offs because it's public domain and stuff. And so you get tons of these different spins on it. And so when I was like, the Zombieful World of Oz, I was like, okay, another spin on Wizard of Oz or whatever. And but I backed it and checked it out, and it's really freaking good. And there's the first issue is good, but the second issue is even better. And so I think this is a series that's going to escalate, because we're all learning, and so our next issues will always be better than our last. And so that's very fun. And the same with the comics that we love, like Ninja Turtles and Cerebus and stuff. Their first issues were got them by, but it was the later issues that really evolved. And I see a big evolution between, especially the art of number 1 to number 2. Like it's escalating, but I really like the characters, so I'm very interested in this branching out and escalating. And so I was surprised how much I liked it. Let me see. Oh yeah, and then I got bro. Oh, here's my color version of Lone Wolf. And then the Legends of Lone Wolf. This was a freaking cool idea. It almost killed Doug, but having, this is kind of what I hope to do in the future, is having people from across the community working on, one IP, bring it all under one house, bring it together. And so it might have almost killed him, but it was, I think, very much worth the effort. And also, we're all trying to establish our characters. And, these two books really fast tracks his Lone Wolf to where, he has his first issue that I love, because Jeff Lastly, his art is freaking awesome. I really hope to work with him in the future on something, because his horror comic, 70s horror comic vibe and stuff is so freaking awesome. And so that's really what makes that first issue so damn good. And he's unique and skilled and all these things, and it just works really well. And this collab across all these different creators really helps establish the character. So I thought it was, it might have been a lot of hard work and stuff, but man, it was worth it, because it sets up his Lone Wolf. So now number 2, his series gets a good start. So I hope to see number 2 come pretty shortly. And okay, these were a few more I backed a while back. I can't back everybody's, and I'm kind of backing less now because I am poor. But so, oh yeah, and Mary Sue. I just backed to the first 2 issues. It was really cool that they're handmade and you have the gold. The presentation was excellent, but I will be, as a critic, I try not to do that too often because I don't want people to be too mean to me. I kind of felt that it's a lot of art, but it's when the writing doesn't tell enough. Like what is in there is awesome, but it didn't feel like I established things enough in 2 issues. It feels like you should really establish a lot in 1 issue. So once you get to 2 issues and you're still not clear on what the characters are, that's a thing. And so that's where I lost a little bit of interest. Oh, and he blocked me for no apparent reason, so that kind of pissed me off. And I was like, you know what? Play with my balls. So, let's see here. Oh, and then Cachadorian's identity stunt, #1, and then there's several issues, and I think he's currently looking for an artist to continue identity stunt because he's several issues in. But it's like that. I put it in the LaFay category to where it is a great mainstream alternative. Not an alternative comic, but a mainstream alternative. If you, and I think that's where, Tonic Comics and Gravestone and Napalm Brothers and all of those types of comics are, we're certainly underground style comics, and they're just different, if you're looking for Batman, you'll go, well, what the hell's all this about? It's like, well, we're not Batman. But they're that more alternative if you're big into the mainstream deal. Okay, let me catch back up. Where are we at? Okay, well, it's mainly just people talking about stuff. So I think that. Okay, now I'll tell you what. That gets us pretty good into the deal because I think we've done an hour. That's what I was thinking. So back to the plan. I'm going to start streaming probably every Sunday at 1. I don't know if I'm going to do more than that because I need to draw comic books and write them and put them in boxes and send them to humans' homes. And so I know that I'll definitely probably every Sunday at 1 be doing what's that? If Tonicmole was a Mortal Kombat character, describe your fatality. Hold on. It feels like there's something I scream at people. You'd be called the puppet. Punch right up the butthole. And then use them as a puppet, and it'd be fatality. Okay, that's a little extreme. Anyways, so back to where I was. Oh yeah, so I'm going to do this show every Sunday at 1, and we'll see how that goes. And I'll figure out how to put the little things up here and make it super fancy, or we could just all stare at my toys. What we got? I got some cool stuff too. And see that? That's a glowing Batman head right there, and that's freaking awesome. And oh, one more thing. I dusted a little. This is Amanda Connor's Batgirl. Hold on. See if it goes in focus. It won't, but you get the idea. It's like the coolest Batgirl ever, but it's based on the design by Amanda Connors, and I love it. So, anyways, that's the plan with, doing this every so often and, keep things going. There's plenty of shows out there, but, one more won't hurt. And Saving the World, #3, is live on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. And if you already have some issues, because some people miss like Lily and Wepawet, or maybe they miss #2 because I kind of move too fast and getting the word out. I miss some people occasionally, but now I have my mailing list all sent out, and so I'm bothering everybody rather consistently, and so that should be all leveled out. But but if you are missing some, Indiegogo has you can pick and choose what issues you want, but and create your own bundle, add-ons. I'm able to do add-ons on Kickstarter. I just didn't understand how to do it, especially with the shipping. Like, it wants to add the shipping to the thing, and it's a whole bit. So yeah, so if they got a digital and then did an add-on, I didn't quite understand how to make it to where digital rewards cannot add add-ons, because then I'd need to add shipping onto those things. But then the shipping would be added doubled up and all this type. Anyways, it's a whole mess, so I didn't do it, but I'll probably do it next time. But for this time, Indiegogo, you can do add-ons, so you can pick and choose which issues you want. And to clear up some confusion, issue number 1 sold out, the first print that was, from my very first Indiegogo and Kickstarter. It's gone. There's no more. Honey tells me to stop trying to sell them because I kept selling them, and she was like, you only have like 5 for yourself left. And I was like, ah! So I'm out of first print, and I was going to go send it in for a second print. And that's when I realized I'm unhappy with some things. Some frames were just way off. And, when you sell, so, you're selling just a few hundred issues or something, you always have chance to change some things. And I'm not going to make a habit of it, mind you, but the first issue, there was just enough things that I was like, okay, I need to rework this a little bit. And so all I did was redo art. I didn't change script at all. So it's the exact same story, same pages and everything. Some pages were fully redrawn and other pages were just tweaked and fixed a little bit. Some people might not even notice. Maybe it's possible. I don't know. But there are several pages. I think really the first 3 or 4 pages are completely redone. And then after that, I'm just fixing things. I had people with too big of heads and I shrank them, or the eyes were off and I fixed them. And so tons of that stuff, some reshading and stuff like that. So I feel it's a much better comic. And so that's available on both the Indiegogo and Kickstarter. And that's that number 1 Redux. It is a new version, and with a slightly different cover. So, I've had some people say, hey, are you just going to print on demand? I'm not a fan of print on demand, even though as a creator, I understand the benefit of, for the creator, there's a huge benefit. You just print them when you need them. The problem is they're worth nothing because they're just print on demand. They're just printed, and so, there's a push to make comics far more disposable. And I'm just not a fan of that. I'm a collector, so, I'm kind of part of the fun of comics is the collecting. When you remove all collectability, I have a problem. Anyways, some people, said, oh, are you just going to reprint these things identically? I said, well, no, I'll never do them identically. And that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where we're all buying the 3rd print because the cover's awesome. There's that. Now, this new issue of number 1 will have the same Illustrator Monk cover, but there's some shading. Illustrator Monk, like a lot of my cover artists do her costume all white, where you see in the interior her mask is black and her cape is black. We decided an easy way to differentiate where you can just look at it is her mask is, black and her cape is black on the new reprint instead of white like it used to be. So anyways, so that's what's changed on that. And then, the art and the interiors. Number 2, I still have number 2s. I printed even more of those. And so I think, I have no idea what the count is. That's Honey's job. And that's what she does. She keeps track of what I got and then screams at me as I keep selling them and not doing what I'm supposed to. So she knows what the numbers are. I don't. But when we do reprint that, it gets a new cover by Illustrator Monk. It's very similar. It was designed to look like the Sashi, but that was, a crowdfunding exclusive cover. And so the Sashi cover will be retired with the second print and replaced with a very similar but different Illustrator Monk. And it was because I want the series once I start selling more and branching out to have like this whole collection of Illustrator Monk covers, like this cohesive thing. And so that's where it goes after that. And but you can get all those. In the second print of Saving the World #2, no idea when that's going to come out. But the reprint of #1 is out right now. And there's also, I should probably have checked, but I don't know. I think there's still early bird specials available on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. Now they have a signed copy of Saving the Universe #1 and it's signed by me and Tony Sizzle. Those will not only are these the only signed copies, these are the only copies in existence because I'm not reprinting it. This is the end of the second print, which was all black and white. This is it because I'm retiring it because I just want to take that and make different comics with it instead of keeping this that thing in print. And so this will be it, but you can get that signed copy on either one. And I think there's some left on both because I think, probably half or something. There was 20 a piece on 20 on Indiegogo, 20 on that, and there's a lot of people buying catch-up bundles and all that type of stuff. So there's still some early bird specials there. And then even if you do Kickstarter, you can message me if you wanted to add a copy of something. I do that all the time. So you can still do the whole, I'll give you the price of what everything that you wanted would be, and you just pay that to your tier, and then I make a note of it and ship it out. It works great. But on Indiegogo, you can just do it yourself. Oh, there we go. So, High Pope of Tea. Yo, man. Okay, so I think. Okay, Honey said, everyone go back Saving the World #3. I agree. Or share the links on the interwebs. I also agree. And we've got Jim Lawson variant cover and paper doll stretch goals. Hold on, before I go, I gotta talk about the paper dolls. Okay, so the stretch goals are all paper dolls, and here's why. So Honey had the idea, hey, what about paper dolls? And I was like, what are you talking about, paper dolls? She goes, no, little dolls. Well, that's just the type of thing I go, that's good. That's cool. Like, I love these interactive type things like that. I love it. And so I was like, well, let's see what happens. I'm going to try. And so I drew Akira with the outfits, and then she printed it out and tested it, and she goes, yeah, the art's fine, but it don't function properly. And so I went back and then redid it and to where it'd work better. And I am super more excited than I should be for these paper dolls. They're just going to be on pretty heavy stock, like an art print, and you'll just have to cut them yourself. I'd like to have them kiss cut, where they pop out, but that's too soon and probably costs a lot of money. But these just you cut out like a normal paper doll, and so far we have Kira in her basic outfit. So it's Kira in her underpants, and then it's Kira, and then you have the clothes to put on her super suit, or her t-shirt that has the the Hall of Legends, the comic book store she goes to, and with that t-shirt on, and then a few extra items, and then the second one was $1,500, and that opened up the her work clothes, which I've drawn most of them. I haven't finished them yet, so I did one little update where it's going to be the Pickle King outfit, her work clothes, her polo shirt that has her name tag, and then some extra items like a hamburger and stuff like that to kind of sit next to her, I guess. And Then in the next goal, is done. They got to that 2,000. Is Nora. So it's Nora, the same idea, and with her basic clothes, and then with 2,500 there'll be more clothes for Nora, and then I haven't figured out what past then, but it'll kind of be adding things to that. And my Pickles is the Pickle King. And so let's see. I think that pretty much puts a wrap on today's show. I want to thank you all for showing up. You can like, comment, thumbs up, thumbs down if you're a bastard, or share the campaigns, all the campaigns below, and give everybody a boost. And what's the thing? Subscribe to my channel, and I'll probably just I'll stream probably just once a week, every Sunday at 1, and then I'll do some videos that aren't live just throughout the week if I have a crazy idea, and I'll just video it and then post it, and you guys can watch it that way. And so anyways, I want to really thank you guys for all showing up. I thought I might only have 1 viewer, and it'd be my wife, but we had 10 pretty much this whole time, and that is freaking awesome. And we got 9 likes. So 9 out of 10 people loved this stream. I need to start an OnlyFans, but that'll be next week. And I want to thank you guys all for showing up and for liking. And I don't know who that one person is, but I'm going to find them and teach them a lesson. But subscribe to the channel and all those type things. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.